Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Raven Space Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. We have a great show today. It's the special show where we talk about the next game, the preview show, the Ravens versus the Steelers. The Ravens need this win after a very disappointing trip to London, so hopefully they can get it. We're going to talk about injuries. We're going to talk about offensive preview, who's the X Factor, defensive preview, who is the X Factor, and we're going to answer your question at the end like we always do. Special shout out to our Patreon subscribers. You guys are the best, and if you want to subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube, please subscribe. It's awesome. We're a great community. And we're going to hit into the first topic, which talks about the injury updates and other information. Again, Brandon Williams out, Max Williams out, Ben Watson out. And these are the injuries that they've listed so far. I haven't heard anything about Jalen Hill yet, if he's in or he's out. Again, Jalen Hill has not yet played. And because I have not heard anything, I don't know. And actually, now that I said that, I have just found out, just popped in, that Jalen Hill is also out. So, again, right now the defense is not the best version of itself that it can be. And it's going to be tough because of the Brandon Williams being out. Players are going to have to step up. Last week, even though the running game wasn't the best, the Ravens did not win the line of scrimmage. Again, Blake Bortles was relatively, calm last game. He really didn't have to, dodge any traffic or feel the pressure. And with Brandon Williams, when you have to double team, you can't double team Terrell. You can't double team other players. So we need them to step up. Again, I want a big game. A big game from our defensive tackles. Again, I think we have the deepest defensive tackle group in the NFL. I need them to step up. Michael Pierce, I need you to step up. Now that Brent Urban is also injured, I need Chris Wormley to step up. I need all these players to step up if they want to impress and, show the Ravens that they can play at the highest level. Again, Max Williams is also out. Max Williams, again, though he didn't do much yet this season, is the most explosive receiver that the most explosive tight end that the Ravens have. And if he was playing, then it'd be nice, but he's not. And if you guys also saw that Ben Watson is also hurt, which is going to affect the tight ends. Again, that's why they brought in additional tight ends. They brought in Ryan Mallett. I think he may get the nod here because right now the Ravens only have Nick Boyle ready to go, which is not good because Nick Boyle is the least talented pass catcher of that group. So we're going to go to the offensive preview where we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but also going to talk about the X Factor, who needs to step up, what needs to happen. And, we've been kind of avoiding this. The X Factor is always the quarterback, to be honest. He's the most important player, and Joe Flacco needs to step up. After last week's performance, where he got a QBR rating from ESPN of 0.8, where he didn't throw more than 30 yards in the game, it's time for you to step up, Joe. Joe said that the numbers were just, crazy. They're not important. And I see what you're saying, Joe, but now it's time for you to step up. You are the X Factor for this game. Again, the Steelers defense is pretty well balanced. They do have some star players like a Casey Hayward on the defensive line, a Ron Shazier, a linebacker who I really like, especially for today's game, where you have to be a quicker linebacker. But they can be beaten. They're not a great defense. The Bears took advantage of them in a running game. They can be beaten. They're not a great Steelers defense. Joe needs to step up. If Joe has a good game, we win this game. Simple as that. If Joe has a bad game, then we don't win this game. Simple as that. So, Joe, you are the X Factor. Again, some concerns that I have specifically some concerns that I have for this game. The offensive line has to come to play. Please, please, please come to play. Be aggressive. Be physical. Do what you got to do. Be on the same page, and we could have a chance. Also, I think you got to give Alex Collins a shot. Alex Collins played very well. Give him a chance to perform and show what he can do with the ball in his hand most of the time. I like Alex Collins a lot. give the kid a chance. A lot of people want to see him play. Give him a chance. Again, I think the offense will do okay. I don't know how many points they're going to score, as how many opportunities they get, but I do think they'll be fine. Joe needs to step up. If Joe does not step up, then we have no chance. So we're going to go on to the defensive preview. And, you know, we're going to talk about who the X Factor is. And this game is kind of special because of how good the Steelers offense is. It's going to be a test, especially after last week's debacle. This is going to be a test. And the X Factor is CJ Mosley. Why is CJ Mosley the X Factor? Because CJ Mosley has the hardest assignment. He'll be asked to do it all. The Steelers love crossing routes. The Steelers love to throw the ball to the inside. The only receiver who really consistently catches it on the outside for the Steelers is Antonio Brown. And of course, Antonio Brown can catch it anywhere. So CJ Mosley has to be ready. He has to be ready to stop the run because they have, in my opinion, the hardest running back to tackle in the NFL. Because he's so patient, he gets through the holes. He's always getting positive yards, so that's going to be tough. He's the best receiver he's the best receiver who's a running back. So you can put him out wide. You can have him run receiving routes, and he's very good at it. Le'Veon Bell is extremely talented. So CJ Mosley has to contain him, but also has to be aware that when he drops back in coverage, there's probably a receiver doing a crossing route behind him. So be ready. And CJ Mosley is very good at this. We know this. We saw his interceptions, against teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, not this year. That was probably a bad point to bring up, but where he flows back very well. He has a constant, feel for where everyone is. So CJ Mosley is my defensive X Factor. And in order for the defense to win, he has to play well, but also Terrell Suggs and the pass rushers have to play well. Ben Roethlisberger will hold the ball until he feels comfortable, so you have to make him uncomfortable. Now, the Steelers' offensive line is good. They are much improved from what we're used to, so they're going to, they're going to be pretty good if we only rush for 3. So expect rushing with 4 and expect more blitzes than we've seen in the past, I think, for this game. So I'm excited. I think the defense will return back to how good they were, but they need their star players to be star players. We need to see the DBs who are great lock people down. We need to see the linebackers play their role. And we need to see the defensive line, who is weak right now, need to step up and control that line of scrimmage. So we're going to move on to my favorite segment, the mailbag question. And this question is something that you guys can participate in as well. So send your questions to mailbag@ravenspace.com. And this question, of course, comes from Brad. And Brad asks, talk about Jacoby Jones, please. He is he's retiring as a Raven. Brad, I would love to talk about Jacoby Jones. Jacoby Jones is one of my favorite Raven players from the last couple of years. He's so fun to watch. And the Ravens have missed him since he, was let go from the team. It's just that, you get stories in the NFL like this all the time, but when history goes on, you forget these players that had a giant role, but because they weren't a star player, you forget about them. So I can very possibly see in 20 years when I'm telling my children or, whatever about the Ravens and how they won a Super Bowl, that I might skip Jacoby Jones. But it's important that we don't do that because Jacoby had a giant role to play. Again, in that playoff. So let's just start for the regular season. The regular season, Jacoby and the special teams unit gave the Ravens life. Again, the offense was never that good. Let's be real. The offense was never that good. The defense was not good. We had a lot of injuries. Terrell Suggs was injured. Ray Lewis was injured. The DBs were bad. We were not that good the entire year during the regular season. We did get hot in the playoffs. That's all that counts. But we were not that good. The special teams was the best part because we had Jacoby, and I believe we had Tucker that year as well. So, and Cook, of course. So we were great on that. I mean, Jacoby, every time he got the ball, it was a chance for him to take it all away. In the playoffs, he had, in my opinion, the 3 biggest plays of the playoffs. And one, you of course have the Mile High Miracle. Man, of course, you know, Jacoby just ran straight. Joe put it there, and the DB made a mistake, but it's a special moment. Then you had the kick return in the Super Bowl that basically took the life out of the 49ers. I believe he broke a record for that. And then you have the touchdown that he scored in that same game where he fell on the ground, got back up, gave a spin, ran, and dived into the end zone. Awesome, awesome thing. Again, Jacoby was special that year. Though he wasn't a good receiving threat, he had the ability to stretch the field when teams covered Torrey Smith. Man, I have so much respect for Jacoby. I'm happy he retired as a Raven. Thank you so much, Jacoby, for, you know, helping us get that ring. And again, you had a great career, man. Congratulations. So, and that is the end of the Raven Space Daily today. Thank you guys so much. Please check out our hype video that we released for the Ravens versus the Steelers. Again, I'll be tweeting about the game along with you guys. Please subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube if you're not yet subscribed for the best Baltimore Ravens content on the internet. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.